Hello and welcome to the Highly Strange Podcast with Lewis and Sarah.
Hello.
How are you?
All right, mate. You?
Yeah, good. Safe.
I'm ready.
Safe. So this is going to be a somber episode.
Okay.
It's going to be really sad. There's no comedy in this one.
Oh,
I'm sorry, listeners.
that's a good start, isn't it?
It's very, very sad. Born on the 10th of October 1916 in Le Havre, in France.
Okay.
France.
La Havre.
Bernard Heuvelmans was a scientist, explorer, researcher and writer who would go on to become the founding father in the study of cryptozoology.
Nice.
His book, On the Track of Unknown Animals, released in 1955, would go on to be the most influential book in the field, and it was the book that eventually coined the term cryptozoology. Whilst his book would focus primarily on sea serpents, giant squid, and dinosaurs that he alleged lived in the far corners of the earth, this field would soon expand to all manner of creatures.
Oh, it's got a bit like Lovecraftian then.
So, if you remember, we've briefly dipped our toes into cryptozoology. We did mention some sea beasts
Yeah.
and some whirly-pools in our very first episode. America in the 1950s was a world away from the America we know now. The burgeoning Cold War and a newfound obsession with generated constant awe, with America becoming increasingly more interested in the strange side of life, the highly strange side of life. In this time, we saw the birth of many now famous cryptids, such as Bigfoot. So there's actually historical reports of large hominid creatures that go back thousands of years. Do you know when the term Bigfoot was actually coined?
No, do you know what? I thought it was fairly modern.
No, like thousands of years. You see like cave paintings of like big things next to little people. It was actually coined in the 1950s by lumberjacks who would find huge footprints in the Oregon woodland. Hence the term Bigfoot.
Yeah, nice.
They've got big feet. And the Flatwoods Monster. Have you heard of the Flatwoods Monster?
Do you know what? I haven't.
It's a very strange case that's on the list to do this year. It involves a robot alien monster and a spicy cloak.
Spicy cloak. Nice.
Spicy cloak. And the 50s also was the burgeoning beginnings of ufology. Okay. Moreover, a certain film, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, was also released in 1954. That might come in important later.
Sorry, so that's a film or something?
The film,
right,
The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Never seen it.
You've never seen it?
You might recognise the picture. I think it's like a giant...
It's like a big mossy mass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like a mossy yeti.
Yeah, kind of, but like in that swamps.
Have you ever seen a sniper where they wear like the bush?
Ghillie
Yeah.
suit, yeah.
Yeah, looks like that.
Okay.
But wet.
Like Barry.
Oh, wet Barry. This is a somber episode. No wet Barrys.
Apologies.
Much like ufology, cryptozoology experiences flaps over the decades.
You love a flap.
Love a flap. Whilst the 1950s birthed the legends of cryptids in America, the most exciting and well-known cryptids really took hold of the nation 2 decades later, in the 70s and 80s. Whilst Mothman was in the late 60s, the Dover Demon and the Jersey Devil, to name a few. Have you heard of any of those?
I don't know who the Dover Demon is.
He lives down the road. No, it's an American. There's a place called Dover in America. I think it's like a little dog thing.
Oh, okay.
I think.
It's a little golem.
Gollum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whilst today's cryptid of choice took hold in 1972, it originates back in 1955. So let's go back to 1955.
Yeah, we were there last week, weren't we? Let's go back again.
Immerse yourself. It was a dark, late night in the spring of 1955 when a travelling salesman was driving down a long, dark and empty road that stretches alongside the Little Miami River in Clermont County through to a small little town known as Loveland in Ohio.
That's a very cute name for a town, isn't it?
Loveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. As he approached a poorly lit bridge, he noticed 3 figures hunched over on the side of the road in what seemed like a triangular pattern. The man first assumed that they were on their knees praying. As you do in this particular situation, late at night alone on the road, he pulled over to have a good look.
It never goes out well, does it? It's not going to end well.
As the unnamed man pulled his car over to the curb, he began to notice some of the unsettling features of these figures. As he sat in his car for approximately 3 minutes or so, he noticed that the figures only stood at around 3 to 4 feet tall and weighed what the man estimated to be around 60 pounds.
Okay, so it's small, yeah.
Yeah.
Little.
So short of getting on like getting the figures to stand on like scales, I don't know how you can estimate someone's weight like that or something's weight. I never looked at that and be like, that's 60 pounds.
No, I've never done that actually. But it's America, isn't it? And America are like obsessed with that because whenever you hear stories, they're like describe the man and to give you like the
his
visualization.
weight.
They're like he's 140 pounds. Like, so I think it's just an American thing.
It's funny because in this country we use pounds and we use metric and imperial like interchange it. But like when it comes to pounds, I can like say what 60 pounds would be like. But when it gets like 180 pounds, like they do in America, I'm totally gone.
Yeah.
As soon as it goes past 100, I have like no idea. I can't reference.
Bags of sugar.
Yeah. I know like 14 pounds is a stone, but
Yeah,
then that's
I
as
still
far
try
as
and
I can
visual
get.
it in stone. So 60 pounds about 5 stone, isn't it?
Yeah.
Roughly.
So it's like I imagine it's like the weight of a small child. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Of a small barrow.
Small Barry.
So, so these 60-pound figures were covered in a grey, leathery, amphibian-like skin and had webbed hands and feet.
Oh, we've gone back to the Isle of Sheppey. Started there in our first episode, didn't we?
The man was not sure if they were wearing light grey clothing, which would explain the skin colour. However, he was definitely certain that they were wearing trousers.
Okay.
If you could see Sarah's face right now. Loose-fitting baggy trousers that thankfully covered their private parts.
Oh, well, I'm glad they had some decency.
I imagine because it's 50s, they were proper like baggy like trousers.
Like MC
you know?
Hammer.
Yeah, like hammer pants. You wouldn't have like skinny jeans.
No. But I just can't imagine like baggy trousers that small. Because they're only, did you say they're 3 foot tall?
Yeah, was it they're
Yeah.
3 foot tall? Yeah, 3 to 4 feet tall. It's like when you
Tiny
put
little
children
baggy
in
pants.
suits. Weirds me out. Or like babies
Do you know
in
what I hate
trousers.
the most? Kids in tracksuits, like babies in full-on tracksuits. Stop doing that.
Or like children in like football kits.
Football kids is alright.
You're cursing
I just
them.
hate when they're like in a full-on tracksuit.
It's like if you was to put your baby in a Tottenham kit, they're cursed for life. However, their most distinctive features was their distinctly frog-like heads. They had flat, squat faces, long, lipless, straight mouths with strangely human eyes and no discernible nose. They had a long, fat roll along the back of their heads, much like the back of
It
Phil
is
Mitchell's
Barry.
head. See, I went for another EastEnders reference. You know, like Phil Mitchell's got that
Yeah,
back bit
yeah.
on the top of your neck, yeah. Their bodies were what the man described as lopsided. They had unusual bulges on their right side, with their left arms being smaller than their right. So,
I struggle to picture this. I don't even know what's in my head right now.
basically, in case you haven't guessed, they look like frogs. Frogmen. Now, just imagine it's like a frog, but it's standing on their hind legs. It's kind of what you would imagine a frog would look like, but with wonky arms
Okay.
and lipless mouths. But frogs don't have lips anyway.
No, but they do have like, I can't think of the word. Like there's shape to their mouth. But
What would you? What shape would you say a frog's mouth is?
well, like just mouth shape. Do they
Mouth
do
shapes. What do you think they were doing in this triangular pattern? Because and under the assumption they're praying.
praying? Right. I mean, it does kind of sound like ritually, doesn't
Because
it?
they're on their knees in a triangle, just like facing each
Yeah.
other, praying to the frog.
I
lord.
probably would assume. I mean, potentially not praying to like a god, but praying to something. Right. Okay. I've just been shown a
Liam
picture
just
of
brought
what
over a
to-
picture.
I believe this is a drawing made by a witness.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, we'll go. There's a lot of artwork for the Loveland Frogman. It's very popular.
Okay. But that does just look like a frog.
Yeah, essentially that one does. He hasn't got the trousers.
Yeah, no, he's not wearing trousers, that one, actually.
So
That was a hippie frog.
if you saw these frogs kneeling in a triangular pattern, what would you do?
I mean, I wouldn't have stopped.
You wouldn't have stopped, no.
I wouldn't have been there long enough to see.
You could step in the middle of them and pretend to be their god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Maybe they're just
Bow
summoning.
to me.
Have just a legion of frogmen. So, as is highly strange tradition, the man decided to do the absolutely worst thing to do, and displayed curiosity rather than caution. He stepped out of his car to investigate the frogmen. As he slowly approached the figures, one of them lifted a rod-like object above his head.
Impressive.
Yeah, look, he's showing off. So he lifted his rod-like object above its head in what the man described as a graceful motion.
Oh.
Which we've all done before. It's always graceful.
I'm not sure it is.
Well, this rod-like device emitted blue sparks from both ends.
Both ends?
From both ends. There you go, he's showing off. After the rod spewed sparks from both ends, the strange frogman then attached the rod, or wands, I'm going to call them wands as well,
Okay.
to its ankle, presumably under its baggy trousers leg. So he's got like an ankle holster that he attaches his rod to.
Of course he does.
You know, you have to be showing off if you're tucking your rod into your ankle holster.
So they got trousers but no socks.
No, well, doesn't mention socks. I suppose you can't see him under his baggy ankles. Not baggy ankles, baggy trousers. Oh, I didn't mean to slur the frogman. It was at this point, after the rod was attached to the being's ankle, that the beings turned to face the now presumably terrified man and began to approach him.
Do you think they're just on tag?
They've broken out the frog prison. Now fearing for his life, the man claimed to have received a telepathic message to leave the scene immediately. So it's kind of like what happened to the Nids men on Skinwalker Ranch. But at this point, if 3 trouser-wearing, rod-wielding frogmen started to approach me, I'd probably have the psychic sense to leave as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definite incoming message of get the fuck out.
As the man fled the scene, he described a strange smell that was now surrounding the figures. What do you think the smell was?
I mean, I'd assume like just a swampy,
Like a froggy smell.
Yeah, the musty like smell of
Frog.
swamp.
Musty smells. Well, no, he would go on to surprisingly say they smelled like fresh cut alfalfa. Alfalfa? Alfalfa, that's
What
what
does
I'm
that
settling
smell
for.
like?
I did some research. It's a plant that's apparently more commonly referred to as lucerne.
Right, okay. So they're just a nice, fresh, pleasant smell.
Yeah, like plants,
Yeah, okay.
like flowers. And sweet almonds.
Oh.
Yeah.
They've been on the Disaronno the night before.
So it's interesting because when people say they see like alien greys, they say they smell like cinnamon. Like
do they? I didn't know
sickly,
that.
burnt, sweet cinnamon.
Oh, okay.
So like
I'd
aliens
throw
have
up
a
then
smell.
immediately if they came near me.
Yeah, you're highly allergic. As it is the 50s, the man went to visit the local sheriff, who claimed the man looked like he had seen a ghost and seemed sombre and sincere in his recollection of the night's events. So it's weird, like you see stories from the 50s, like people just go to like see the police.
Yeah.
You just go into the station and be like,
Could you imagine going into the police station like in this day and age, being like, I'm not being funny, mate, right? There's 3 frogs out there, stood in a triangle. One of them's got a like metal pole down its trousers.
they'd be taking hair samples immediately. They'd be like, all right, mate, can we go and have a word in here? Just spit into this car.
I reckon they'd leap to it.
Oh, no, it's not my episode. You don't get to do those shit jokes, all right? I'm in control. This is somber. According to the Loveland locals, this resulted in an FBI investigation, with FBI agents seen around the Loveland area soon afterwards. However, there is no known record of this investigation. Some have argued, however, that the lack of FBI investigation results could perhaps lend to the idea that it wasn't the FBI involved at all. and it was actually our dear friends, the Men in Black, who were there to investigate the possible alien incursion and discourage local attention.
So what? Do you know what they actually saw? Like what they just saw men in?
They saw like men that looked like FBI's, like
Briefcases
wearing
and-
hats and suits and big Pontiacs or whatever they drove. I don't know if that's a thing. And that's essentially the end of the very first recorded case of the Loveland Frogmen. What I find lends credibility to this story is just how fucking batshit it is. Like,
Yeah, it's not something you'd make up with the intention of being believed, is it? Really?
no, you have to be
You're just gonna make
smoking
it
some
up.
serious alfalfa to like come up with that. Frogmen, for a start, performing a magic ritual with wands, wearing baggy trousers, and they smell like almonds. Yeah, that's something you come up with, isn't it?
Bizarre. I like it.
Yeah. That's the end of the episode. No, it's not. Yeah, so that was the very first encounter with the Frogmen. It was not going to be the last.
Okay, and that was 1950.
That was 1955.
Okay.
At about 1 a.m. on March the 3rd, 1972, nearly 17 years after the first report, a police officer was travelling along Riverside Road, heading towards Lovelands, when he saw something that would forever change his life. Officer Ray Shockey was driving near the Totes Boot Factory alongside the Little Miami
We
River.
just appreciate the name Officer Shockey.
Officer Shockey. well. So he was driving along the Little Miami River when he saw what he had assumed was a dog on the side of the road. I think we all know where this is going. Suddenly, the creature darted in front of his car, narrowly avoiding a collision as the shocked Shockey slammed on his brakes. That's my new favourite thing I've written. It was once his vehicle had come to a halt and his headlights illuminated the creature that Shockey realised it was not a dog. The creature, now crouched on two legs, bizarrely frog-like in appearance, stared back at the once again shocked Shockey. Its eyes reflected the beams of light, much in the way a cat's does, and it then dived into the brush and down into the river. Shockey would later describe what he saw as being 3 to 4 foot tall and weighing between 50 and 75 pounds. There we go again.
Oh, okay, but accurate with the last line.
Accurate,
Okay.
same as the last time, roughly. He claimed it had a leathery skin and, of course, resembled a giant frog or perhaps a lizard.
Oh.
Shockey would go on to make a report to his bosses at the Loveland Police Department to what you can only imagine was absolute carnage. Can you imagine?
I mean, would you just get fired on the spot, wouldn't you? Like, clearly you're smoking crack.
Drug
Your
tests.
time at the force is over.
Despite the terrorising he surely had to endure, an officer would actually go out to inspect the area and found scratch markings on the roadside barrier where the creature scrambled over to escape.
Do frogs have nails? That's not a thing, is it?
Well, maybe the frogmen do.
I was thinking, like, how do frogs scratch? With their tongues.
Oh, they've got scratchy tongues. So there was only one frogman in this instance,
Yeah, okay.
with no trousers and no rod. Why?
He's
What do
lost
you
his
think?
trousers,
He's lost his
pals,
trousers.
he's lost his rod. It's a hard time.
Yeah, it's just a frog on a hard time. He's just in the woods like, oh, fucking hell. He'd been on the Disaronno
And
again.
he's gained weight because he's gone
he's
from
put-
up to 60 to
He's
75
put on a
pounds.
stone. It was only 2 weeks later when fellow officer Mark Matthews was driving towards Loveland when he spotted what he believed to be an injured animal lying on the ground. As Matthews got out of his car, intending to either help the injured animal or perhaps more obliquely deal with an animal carcass, the creature lurched into a crouched position. Understandably surprised, Officer Matthews did the only thing that comes naturally. He pulled out his service revolver and shot the creature.
Oh,
American police.
yeah. There are other tactics, guys.
No, 'Literally gun or nothing. Or maybe a taser, that could have been funny. I love watching videos of people running away and getting tasered. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The frogman proceeded to hobble over to the other side of the road, hopped over the guardrail, all while never breaking its frog-like stare on the officer. So it ran across the road, but it was like staring at him as it ran across.
And he didn't. So he was hit by a bullet.
Yeah, I think he was hit, but he just like
Wow. Okay.
didn't do anything to him. Maybe he had like a bulletproof frog jacket on.
I imagine like really sinister blinking because frogs have got like big eyes.
No, it didn't
haven't
blink.
they?
It stared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, imagine that, like a human-sized frog.
Yeah.
Human-sized frog eyes. That's ugh.
That'd be very scary.
It would. We joke about these things, but in real life, if you saw this, it would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I would fully like poo myself.
And I think you would like genuinely try to go to like a police station or something, wouldn't you? Because
I don't know if I would though. What would the police do?
No, but I think you just need to.
I need to tell someone.
Yeah, you would be frightened. Like you are taught if something scares you or frightens you, like tell the police, get it on record, get something done.
Get something done about these fucking frogs.
Yeah.
At the time of this shooting, Matthews described the creature as being identical to what Shockey had witnessed, except this time the creature had a tail, which frogs don't naturally have.
Oh, is that why he said maybe it's more of a lizard?
Yeah. In the years that followed Matthews' encounter, he had rescinded on his earlier testimony. He claims that it was in fact just a large lizard which likely escaped from its owner.
Oh, okay.
So he went back and just like changed his story and said, no, it was just a lizard. Which I'm not a herpetologist, and I'm sure you're not. Yeah, I looked that up. That's an expert of lizards and reptiles. I think I'd know the difference between an iguana or like a normal pet lizard with a 4-foot tall frogman.
If you thought it was a lizard, you wouldn't shoot it.
Well, I think it's perhaps a testament to American policing that the first thought he had was to shoot it.
It had to look weirder than a lizard to pull a gun out, didn't it? Just had to.
Yeah, because he goes back and claims it was just a pet lizard, which he still shot.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like,
So,
even like obviously you might still be like, well, why is there a lizard just out here? But you wouldn't be like, God, that's a lizard. Bang. I don't know. Where's 3-foot frogman?
I don't know if he's trying to regain his credibility by like instead of being ridiculed for seeing and shooting a frogman, he would shoot.
You're only going to get
iguana.
ridiculed further, though, aren't you? Do you remember that time you thought you saw a frogman? It was a lizard.
Do you remember that time you shot a lizard? Like, what?
Do you remember we had to go knock that little girl's house, tell her that you killed her pet?
Remember that time you murdered a lizard on a road? It was miles away.
Fucking shocky.
So later on in 1972, the same year, an anonymous farmer reported seeing 4 bizarre creatures on his property located once again adjacent to the Little Miami River. So I'm not sure what's going on with this particular Little Miami River.
It'd be interesting to know if there's any like toxic waste in it.
Well, I actually wrote maybe there's some sort of toxic
Yeah.
or radioactive waste creating some mutant frogs.
You know, that episode of The Simpsons where like the fish has like
They've got
loads
3
of
eyes, yeah. The anonymous farmer claimed that the 4 creatures had large circular eyes. Their skin was a pale greenish grey. More disturbing than the other counts, however, was their mouths. The farmer described them as wide and full of sharp teeth. Luckily for our anonymous friends, these creatures, once spotted, retreated again into the river, never to bother the farmer again. So not only are you now seeing 4-foot tall frog people that are standing up, it's got fucking teeth.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's
Do
when you
frogs
shoot
normally
them.
have teeth? They don't, do
No,
they?
frogs don't have teeth.
No.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a herbologist, whatever.
Herpetologist. Herbologist. Frogs don't have teeth.
That sounds like you've got a profession in herpes.
Can you imagine if frogs have teeth?
Well, I don't know. I've never looked inside a frog's mouth.
Have you not?
No.
Oh, you had a boring childhood then,
I
didn't you?
was guessing they didn't because obviously they like catch flies on their tongue and then just swallow, don't they? So, no chewing involved.
Now, Loveland much like other parts of America, which are famed for their cryptids, truly embraced the Loveland Frogman.
They become like Frogland County.
Basically. Local shops sell T-shirts with the slogan, "I saw the Loveland Frog." Which, if we ever go to America, I want to go to Loveland and get one of those shirts.
Is it like, I saw the Loveland Frogman and all I got is this
lousy
t-shirt?
T-shirt. Nothing lousy about a Frogman T-shirt. There's a video game based off the absolute classic Frogger. Have you played Frogger?
I have not.
Oh, Frog is great.
Frog is great. You control a little frog and you've got to try and cross the road. So there's cars coming each way and they're going quite fast and you've got to jump onto logs to go just across the road.
I'm assuming you just get splat in the middle of the road.
Yeah, and you start over again. So instead of traversing...
You don't get shot by an American police officer there.
Well, that's in the new one. That's Frogger 2, where there's also like snipers aiming at you as well. So instead of traversing this frog across traffic, you're guiding the Loveland Frogman.
Nice.
There's even, on my research, I found a great song about the Loveland Frogman, which is sung to the tune of the Village People's classic, YMCA.
Do you know the lyrics? Can you sing it yourself?
No, I can't remember it.
Frogman, there's no need to feel down. I said
Frogman! You actually remember it?
No, I don't know.
That's it! Oh. Perhaps more notably, the Loveland Frogman, I'm going to keep calling it Frogman. Should I just call him Frogman? Loveland Frogman, that's his name.
I was going to say it now sounds like a actual person's surname.
Yeah, it's Loveland Frogman. It's the only cryptid thus far to have its own musical.
What's the musical called? Just Loveland Frogman?
Ohio writers and actors Joshua Steele and Mike Hall wrote the bluegrass musical Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frog. Now, I did look this up. They only ran for 5 shows in Ohio. They only ran it 5 times and that was it.
Do you reckon they have the song like, Jeremiah was a ball frog?
I was thinking if we can get all our fans together, create a petition to bring back Loveland Frog, to bring back Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frog.
UK edition.
Yeah, if it goes to the West End, I would genuinely pay a decent amount of money to go up there and see it. Because I imagine it's just a bloke in a frog suit, and he's just running in front of cars.
I'd love to be a kid, wouldn't it? Make it a 3 foot tall.
No, I'd prefer it to be like an adult. The Wikipedia article for the Loveland Frog actually has this called. Wait for it. Hot diggity dog, it's the Loveland Frog. Which, in my opinion, and probably yours as an entertainer, is much superior.
It's a good title. I
Hot
like it.
diggity dog, it's the Loveland Frog.
Yeah, snappy.
So in this musical, Luke Honeywell and his girlfriend Darla set off with a bluegrass band to find Luke's missing grandfather, supposedly snatched by the frogman himself.
Oh, they made the frogman like a demon.
Like a bit of a...
Made a villain out of him.
Yeah.
Frogs are meant to be Prince Charming.
I wouldn't want to kiss Frogman.
Might be quite...
Especially if he's got teeth. If you kiss Frogman, he gets his wand out and it starts sparking again. The couple runs from moonshiners and learns about the Frogman's legends from shadow puppets and are interrupted from time to time by fake commercials from a local taxidermist.
So is that just the US's version of Punch and Judy?
Yeah. The Frogman's unique Cincinnati flair inspired Hall, a long-time Loveland resident, and audiences shared the love. The show ran for 5 performances and they all sold out. Nice.
I'm glad it sold out.
So bring back Hot Damn, It's the Loveland Frog, you cowards. In 2016, a new phenomenon overtook the entire planet. Everyone was doing it. I was doing it.
Was that the dam?
You was doing it. My dad still does it. In August 2016, Pokemon Go gave everyone the excuse to leave their houses and go hunt
How
for
have you managed to get Pokemon into 2 fucking episodes?
little digital creatures. Hunting high and low for the rarest Pokemon with his girlfriend, Sam Jacobs was trekking down Loveland's Madeira Road. As they crossed some train tracks to emerge onto the banks of Lake Isabella, they saw a huge frog in front of them. And it wasn't a Poliwhirl, which is somehow our second Poliwhirl reference in only 15 episodes.
Did they catch it?
Jacob reported that this frog stood up on its hind legs, stared at the young Pokemon trainers, and disappeared into the lake. So it's moved from the river. It's now in lakes. It's had a glow up. It's moved into a new place.
And how far, do you know, like how far the lake and the river are?
What, between each other?
Yeah.
No, I didn't do that much
No,
research.
okay. I was just wondering if it's a...
Probably connected. Or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine they probably are. Thankfully for us, though, they managed to snap pictures of this giant frog, which I will leave you to decide on its authenticity.
Have you got a picture?
Yeah, this is it.
That's a tree.
What, with glowing eyes?
Is it this one?
Yeah, it's that one. So I'm going to post that on Instagram and you can decide on how authentic this image is. But if you're listening, it looks like essentially a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sitting in a lake with like huge glowing eyes and the eyes are reflecting off the water.
Yeah, I guess. It looked like a tree to me.
Yeah, but you're fucking weird. So I'll post that on Insta, and there's so many, like you wouldn't believe how many artistic interpretations of this frog there are. It's kind of up there with like Bigfoot, but I haven't seen any like sexualized ones. You know, sometimes you look for Bigfoot and you see like weird
Mothman as well.
Yeah,
like, people
Mothman.
Properly sexualized.
There's lots of like
Mothman.
weird like sex stuff,
Yeah.
erotica. There's no Loveland.
It's like when they gave the M&M boobs.
To be fair, they're hot. those lips, those ankles. No, I have not read any Frogman erotica. maybe we'll write some. If you've seen any, send it in. HighlyChangePod@gmail.com. I'd love to read it. So whether or not the Loveland Frogman was just an innocent iguana minding its own business on a road before it got murdered, or part of a cabal of rod-wielding wizard frogs from space, the Loveland Frogmen have truly captured their place in the hearts of cryptozoologists and the history of American cryptozoology. Hot diggity damn, it's the Loveland Frog.
I like it. So there's no other accounts though, just those three.
No, just those.
Okay. Because there are other like cryptids that are frogs as well, isn't there?
Yeah, I've got a whole... My book that I've got has got a whole
Chapter, yeah.
A whole chapter of frog people.
There are sightings of vaguely similar things to this all over the world. I'll have to look through to see if any of them have wands and shit.
It's interesting as well because like toads, I know they're not like frogs, but they're like related a lot to witchcraft, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true.
So
For a little bit of background information, I did a bit of Googling about frogs. while you were talking.
Did more research than I did.
So,
this is where it's going to tell you they've got teeth.
I didn't find any with teeth, but I know that America has. You sang the bullfrog song. America has bullfrogs, which are massive.
Yeah.
The larger ones are generally about 8 inches long. The largest type of frog in the world is called a Goliath frog. I don't think it's native to America, but it's like sort of average. The larger ones average out at about 13 inches.
13
Okay,
inches?
yeah.
It's still nowhere near getting the. So these were more like.
But do they have tails?
That's like rod
Some of them
sized.
do.
Oh, okay. Some of them have tails. Wow.
Yeah, some of them.
Oh, they do have tails. Oh, fuck me. I don't know
Yeah,
anything.
there are types that keep it because normally when they're young they have tails. And the
Yeah, and
tail
they just
falls
drop off, don't they?
Yeah, some of them keep it.
Oh, interesting.
Look at that. Did more research than I did. Well,
In about 20 seconds, really.
to be honest, I'd just written the 2 parts for Skinwalker Ranch and I wanted to do something fun and easy.
Oh, I enjoyed it. It's good. I don't know what I'd do if I
If you saw the
kick it back in the river. I don't know.
I think I'd want to shake. I'd want to like pat his head.
What?
Like it's a weird fat roll on the back of its neck. I'd just give it like a bit of a rub. Just rub its head.
Weird.
Grab its rod. That's the thing, right? No, like being deadly serious, as we always are, somber. What was the rod? Was it some sort of wand or was it magic? I'm assuming, if we think of it like realistically, it is some form of technology.
Yeah, maybe weapon.
Possibly, but it weren't even directed at the bloke because he did it before they turned around and noticed he was there.
Yeah.
It's like they were summoning like Frog Jesus. Freezes.
Freezes. Frogses. I don't know. Maybe like it's just what they, people dump weird stuff in the river, so it's just what they found.
Just pick what a sparking rod out of the river.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the weirdest take. I was not expecting something that strange. They've got ankle holsters. They find that in the river as well. And the trousers. They found frog-sized trousers in the river. Fucking hell.
No, they obviously went to a charity shop for that.
That's a weird day if you're working in a charity shop and like 3 frogmen
They
walk in.
dress
You got
up
any
as
trousers?
humans, obviously. They got trench coats, didn't they? Just imagine.
I want like 4 of them all sitting
Yeah,
next to each other
yeah.
in a big coat.
Yeah.
I want some trousers. I don't know what a frog would sound like.
I imagine them all like... That's so nice. I don't know how you made that into words, but...
Oh, that's going to be the highlight. That was fantastic. So that's this week's story. Loveland Frogmen. Hot
I
diggity
enjoyed
damn.
it. I wish there was always more information about the people that find them.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I struggle with, like these stories.
The very first one, there's like so much conjecture. Some say he's a travelling salesman. Some say he was like a cook that's just finished his shift. Like it's really up in the air. You don't know his name anyway.
Yeah, I just wish we knew like their background a little bit. Like, just
Well, I don't know if he had a background in frogs.
well,
He could have been trying to boost his frog career.
target audience. I mean, if he was a chef, maybe he was cooking them.
But yeah, and then you had the 2 policemen,
Yeah,
Shockey and Matthews.
Shocky's such a great name.
Shockey.
That's gonna stay
Officer
with me.
Shockey.
If I remember anything of this episode, it would just be PC Shocky.
You want to know how pleased he was when tasers were brought in. He was in his element.
Maybe that's what the rod was. Maybe they found a taser.
Some form of
They were like, the
taser.
last time a police officer saw us, they fucking shot us. Get a taser out, lads.
I just wish they had little cloaks.
Yeah,
That would have
be
really
cool.
finished. Look, baggy trousers, magic wand and
Yeah.
a cloak.
Yeah, that would make them like Froggle or
Froggy,
something.
Froggy Potter.
Froggy Potter. Frogdolph.
If you think about it, the trousers are the weirdest part of their get-up.
It is, though. Trousers.
I'm sort of thinking though, like frogs' legs are really skinny. So do you reckon they were actually baggy trousers, or do you think they were just generic trousers but looked baggy on their tiny little legs?
Possibly, yeah.
I don't know
Not
what
that it
I don't know-
changes the
I d-
story,
No, I
but-
don't know what to tell you.
They're about the size of children, so if that's the case, then they've probably like beaten and robbed these children of their trousers.
Oh, right, we're going down that route.
That would really traumatise you in future years, wouldn't it? I remember when I was 6 and I got mugged by a frog. You go to therapy and they'd be like, Jesus Christ, that's just frantically writing
You know, like
notes.
you're in that science lesson where you dissect a frog and you're like, no, the PTSD!
Excuse me, sir.
No, your one's got trousers on.
Excuse me, sir. My frog hasn't got trousers. Why has my frog not got trousers?
Froggy trousers.
Froggy trousers.
Well, thanks.
You're very welcome.
I
Just some
enjoyed that.
quality.
You said it wasn't
content.
going to be funny, see?
Yeah,
We make anything funny
It
here.
was all a ruse. Nobody saw it coming.
Very good.
Well, thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was more to the listeners, to be honest, but it's all right.
Mate, I still had to endure it and all.
You loved it. You can find us on Instagram at Highly Strange Pod. There's going to be some nice pictures of frogmen. There's one. There's one. I talked
Trees.
about. Right, I talked about there weren't like any sexualized ones, but there's one that's got really defined arse, like arse cheeks. It's really. I'll include that picture. And some other pictures of frogmen.
Frog erotica.
You can email us your frog stories at highlystrangepod@gmail.com. Your frog erotica. Frog erotica. And find us on Facebook, Highly Strange Pod. Anything
Leave
else?
reviews.
Leave reviews. Yes, we loving your reviews. Loving your reviews.
That's it. Have a lovely week.
Recommend our show to
Who are we going
your
for?
electrician.
Electrician.
He'll really appreciate it.
He might like the sparky rod.
If there's one thing an electrician loves, it's a big rod. I'm sorry to my dad, who was an electrician. See you later. Bye.